Cis people, I'm talking to you. Hi guys, my name is Felix, and today I am here to talk to you about Elliot Page's public transition on Twitter. So, Elliot Page is a star in the Netflix show The Umbrella Academy, and on Tuesday morning he confirmed that he is trans and is going by he/they pronouns. Obviously this is great, and it's awesome to see more trans representation in Hollywood or wherever they film Netflix. But the public feedback on Twitter especially was really, really flawed, and today I'd like to talk about some of the ways that cis people reacted and the ways that they can fix those reactions. Just as a note, I'm not going to read the incorrect pronouns from these tweets because I want to avoid hurting Elliot or other trans people in any way. I'm going to completely avoid their dead name. So firstly, on the trending page on Twitter, there was a interesting arrangement of hashtags. The first one says, Umbrella Academy star Elliot Page announces he is transgender. Cool, there's no problem with that. Second one, hashtag trans rights are human rights, but right above that, it dead names Elliot right there on the Twitter trending page, which, just to clarify for any people who might not know, don't dead name a person when you're referring to a trans person in the past before they transitioned. Don't use their old pronouns. It can be really hurtful. So that right there already, not doing an awesome job, Twitter. And then right underneath that, trending in the United States, TERFs. And for those of you who might not know, TERFs are trans exclusionary radical feminists. And obviously, trans exclusionary radical feminists are not welcome, and they have a lot of flawed beliefs. And to have that right under trans rights or human rights, I feel like it sends a kind of conflicting message. Especially the fact that there are apparently more tweets about TERFs than there are for trans rights or human rights. We're off to a good start. There were a lot more very, very charming tweets from other people. One person named Sweater Yam says, the vast majority of people in the world don't give a poop emoji. And then under that, they shared a gif of SpongeBob saying, nobody cares. Firstly, clearly, this is already mean and unhelpful. It belittles the fact that transitioning is a really important part of a trans person's life. And to say that nobody cares is just plain hurtful, and I don't think it's at all helpful to a discussion around transitioning in the public eye. And that's another thing I want to talk about. Transitioning as a major celebrity must be like so difficult because you already have an established image in the public eye, and it's going to be even harder to transition socially since you already have this image that you've created. So clearly there's an underwhelming amount of cis support for Elliot's transition. Also, just saying that you don't care about a person's transition is just awful. Like, you should care. You should care that this person feels safe enough to bring themselves to a more comfortable place with their identity. That's something that everyone should celebrate. So already there's a lot of transphobia in the replies. Okay, a wonderful tweet from GBSV Official. I feel like I'm Superman. Guess I'm Superman. From now on, I identify myself as Clark Kent, aka Kal-El. See how stupid this sounds? Classic attack helicopter joke. I thought we agreed to leave that in 2016 where it belongs. So first of all, this tweet also belittles Elliot's transition by comparing it to thinking you're Superman, which is obviously not how being trans works, and I doubt this person has ever put in an ounce of energy to understanding how trans people transition. So that's charming, but it also belittles it by calling it stupid. He says, see how stupid this sounds? The language that cis people use referring to trans people's transitions can be really hurtful, and it's important to be careful about that language, which obviously this person is not doing. They're also not even well-meaning, which I would give them a little leeway for their misunderstanding, but they clearly do not care about Elliot or trans people in general. So again, underwhelming amount of cis support and a lot of misunderstandings that could be very, very easily solved. This tweet demonstrates mostly just ignorance, but again, just before you ask questions, listen a little bit. Maybe do your own research. I promise it is not hard to answer a lot of the misunderstandings that were replies under this tweet. I promise. It will not take more than 10 minutes out of your day. And I think cis people need to start doing the legwork for that, because trans people do not owe, again, anyone their time. It's very, very easy to gain a basic understanding of this before you start asking questions that trans people have answered time and time again. Alright, another person says, someone clear this up for me. Does this mean this person is allowed to lift heavy objects now, etc.? Basically everything applies to him as to other men? What if someone gets into a fist fight with this person? Honest question. The needless enforcement of gender roles. I'm so glad we're still on this. Why do we need to enforce these onto people at all? Like, why is this important to the fact that Elliot Page is transitioning? That doesn't mean that he has the authority to hit people. Why are we still like on the like, you're a guy so you can't hit a girl, just don't be hitting anyone in general? It escapes me why this is still a question that people ask when people have transitioned. It's not like they've gained access to this super cool club where they can now like beat the shit out of each other. They're just guys. The fact that they call Elliot this person instead of using his correct pronouns, which were very clearly stated in the tweet above, also demonstrates an unwillingness to understand or participate in healthy transitions. A wonderful, wonderful constructive tweet from Carl says, "Hey everybody, look at me! I'm doing the same gender stuff as the other Hollywood weirdos. Pay attention to me!" Saying I'm doing the same gender stuff lumps trans people in with other I don't know exactly what Mr. Carl is referring to, but it lumps transitioning in with a lot of other LGBT topics, which I think contributes to a lot of the confusion that cis people have regarding transition. Also, saying the other Hollywood weirdos, calling LGBT people weirdos has an effect on the stigma around LGBT people. The language that cis people use to describe transitions really, really embarrassing to see the lack of understanding and the lack of willingness to understand from people like Carl. A great tweet from Deadeye. Can someone honestly tell me what he did to become a hero? I love him in films, especially X-Men, but coming out isn't heroic at all. First of all, they're using incorrect pronouns, which I think should be pretty clear by now that that's extremely disrespectful to do. I don't understand how using the correct pronouns for someone hurts someone in any way. No one is forcing you to change your pronouns. All that trans people are asking from cis people is to treat them with respect, and that includes using the right pronouns. And this just goes right over their heads. The normalization of diminishing the bravery and the emotional toll of coming out is really dangerous, and I think we need to nip it in the bud. Coming out is a really difficult part of any LGBT person's life. I can attest to the fact that it can be really difficult to acknowledge that part of your identity and share it with other people. Obviously, that does not equate to the trans experience, but coming out in general is just, it's a time that's very fraught with emotions for a lot of people, and diminishing that in any way is unacceptable and it needs to stop. My opinion, one of the most harmful tweets is from a woman named Melanie. She says, "You'll see a change, and you are now a white male. Your marriage is now no longer questioned. People will pay attention to your opinion more easily. It'll be subtle at first, but know it's coming. And it makes me, as a butch lesbian, feel just a little pissed and betrayed." I want to say that white men do have privilege in the United States. And since Elliot is transitioning, he may eventually get to experience those privileges. However, he is not transitioning for those privileges. That is not the reason that he is trying to become more comfortable in his identity. Who does it hurt to see Elliot without those privileges? Why would you want to see Elliot not reap the benefits of being respected in society? Every LGBT person deserves those privileges. It shouldn't be denied to someone, and you shouldn't be upset with someone if they get those privileges. I don't think that's fair. To clarify, I am not a butch lesbian. I have no experience in the struggles that this woman is talking about. And I don't want to say that they're not valid. They are. But why are you taking that out on someone who's transitioning and now has their own set of struggles to deal with? Elliot doesn't owe anyone anything. He especially doesn't have to stay in the closet for anyone. As someone who identifies with the WLW community, Side note, I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. I googled it and I got conflicting answers, so I'm just gonna go with WLW. As someone who identifies with that community and considers myself part of it, I don't think we should be begrudging anyone for transitioning, even though that might mean one less WLW representation in media. Cis people, I'm talking to you. I know that we are not helpless. I know that we are capable of understanding basic human respect. We're very clearly failing the trans community in a major way, and it needs to change. Thank you for watching. As always, I do not speak for the trans community. Please leave your comments below if you have any thoughts to add, but do not dead name Elliot or use incorrect pronouns for them. If you do, your comment will be deleted because that's not constructive and it's also transphobic, and I don't welcome that on my channel. Anyway, thank you for watching. I have some exciting things coming up, hopefully. So thank you guys, and have a great day. Wear your mask, please. Stay safe. Cases are rising, so keep that in mind. All right, bye.